Welcome to Red Eye. Hello, everyone. I am Tom Shillue. Let's check in with TV's Andy Levy at the Red Eye Tease Deck. Andy.
Thanks, Tom. Coming up on the big show, Donald Trump says he's not concerned that Hillary Clinton's campaign has $40 million more cash on hand. Well, if he's not concerned, then I'm not concerned.
There you go.
Plus, Hillary Clinton is using her political power to urge the cast of the hit musical Hamilton to perform at the Democratic National Convention. I guess that's one way to get tickets. And finally, Leonardo DiCaprio was ordered to testify in court. I hope while he's there, they make him give back his Oscar for The Revenant. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you, Andy. Let's welcome our guests. She's the E-Skag champion of the world, reporter for the National Review and Fox News contributor Katherine Timpf. He's more reserved than Lou Dobbs' table at the Four Seasons. Fox News contributor and townhall.com political editor Guy Benson. Next to Chrysler and America Online, she's my favorite LLC. Personal finance editor for International Business Times, Lyons Cole. His water cooler conversation is so hot it makes the water boil. Sitting right next to me, TV writer, producer, and founder of Ricochet.com, Rob Long. Okay, let's start the show. Campaign fundraising numbers are out and the headlines are stark. Trump getting crushed by Clinton money machine. Clinton burying Trump. Donald Trump on pace to raise less money than almost any other presidential candidate in modern era. Donald Trump starts summer push with crippling money deficit. That's called framing the story. When the media frames the story, it looks kind of like this. Yeah. What's the real? Do you see that? It's Hillary's logo.
I see the arrows.
Yeah, we worked hard on that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
What's the real story? Clinton outspent Trump on ads $27 million to zero in June and has nothing to show for it. Hillary has 10 times the staff of Trump and she's barely ahead in the polls. Trump says he's unfazed by his spending deficit, saying he can do more with less. The press is laughing and wondering where Trump gets his crazy ideas. I don't know. Maybe it's the $130 million that he watched Jeb Bush spend against him, which had no effect whatsoever. Trump got historic turnout in the primaries, and according to the Washington Post, has so far spent about $5 per vote. Compare that to 15 for Hillary, 21 for Sanders. The media is all in for Hillary. She's got all the money, the establishment, and yet 25% of the electorate is still undecided. Hillary's in trouble. Big league. Guy, I think the media knows it's not supposed to be this close. That's why they're, coming out with all this doom and gloom on Trump.
Well, the numbers do speak for themselves. They're not making those numbers up. They've been reported to the FEC by both campaigns.
What do you think I just said, Guy? I said that they said the numbers, but they're spinning it. They're framing it when really they should be saying, look at the unbelievable job Trump did with so little, right?
So I had a comma and was going to continue with my sentence, which is sometimes how this works. Although you're picking some tips up from other hosts. Anyway, just strike that from the record. I love everyone here. I think that he does, look, he said himself last month in May that he needs to raise close to $1 billion to be competitive in the general. That's just a reality. Maybe he won't get to fully $1 billion, but it's not so much necessarily TV ads that I'm concerned about, although being totally skunked by her in the entire month in battleground states isn't good. It's more about funding a credible ground game, which does matter, turning people out to the polls. And he learned that lesson, or should have, in Iowa, where he was leading in the polls and ended up losing because Ted Cruz beat him on the ground in the Hawkeye state. And that's going to matter a lot in the fall.
Agreed. What do you think about the ground game issue?
Well, I think that it doesn't matter. What he's been doing is what he's always been doing when he had all these interviews about this. He says, yeah, well, Hillary's got a lot of money from Middle Eastern countries and from, this corrupt this and that. It kind of reminds me of, like, how you screenshot your friend's text if they say something dumb to send it to your other friends and make fun of them?
Yeah, I'm going to learn how
to do that. And then you accidentally send it back to the person who you screenshotted it, and you say, oh, I just wanted to remember your advice forever, so I screenshotted it. That's kind of like what Trump is doing with explaining
Note
this.
to self, never text
text you.
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
You're a good friend.
So you think Trump is going out getting drunk and doing strange things with his phone like you?
I think that he is trying to frame it in a positive way. Like, yeah, the reason I don't have this money is because I'm not getting money from terrorists. I'm like crooked Hillary, right?
Yeah.
So he just tries to spin it and to try to make us feel better. Like, oh, of course, like I do with the text messaging thing. Hypothetically, somebody I know does that.
Yeah, but isn't that just called campaigning, Timpf? I mean, that's what you do, right?
Well, I campaign. We should all get out of bed every morning and be campaigning for ourselves.
Yeah.
This is America.
Wow, that's a good.
It's a dog-eat-dog
That's a
world.
great book.
Eat or be eaten. The Katherine Timpf story.
I like Campaign for Yourself. That's a great bestseller.
That's a good idea.
By
That's a
Katherine
good
Timpf,
idea.
right?
Yeah.
Rob Long, what do you think of my incredible point that all you have to do is frame the story and you say, look, Trump has Trump destroyed
we heard it.
all these Republicans.
Saying it twice doesn't make it any more normal or real. Everything you just said is wrong. And actually, it's not even wrong. That's how wrong it is. It's really, really terrible. He has to raise money. No one likes him. His negatives are huge all across everywhere. We are looking at a giant disaster in November. He's already said that he doesn't want to raise money, that doesn't want to be beholden to donors, that he can self-fund. That is a lie. He cannot self-fund. He doesn't have the money to self-fund. You can live inside your little dream journal all you want, but the truth is he's in big trouble. And if he's so unconcerned about this, why did he fire his campaign manager on Monday morning and escort him out of the building with armed guards? Because he knows he is totally screwed.
But maybe he was just bored.
Only people living in fantasy. You know, you ever see the movie Grey Gardens, right?
Yes.
Two rich people are living in this mansion, and they're so crazy and poor now and broke that they're eating cat food and saying it's pate. It's pate. That's Trump Tower right now. It's Grey Gardens. They are living in a delusional way, and they're eating cat food and saying we're going to win in November. And people like you are like you're kind of enabling that. You should. This guy needs help. He needs psychological help.
He's got time, and what I'm saying is Lauren Lyons Cole.
There is no time. There's no time. He's going to try to raise money from people, and they're going to give it to him, and he's going to turn around and pay himself back. This guy's giving himself a salary. That's what we learned from those numbers. He's paying himself. He's paying his own companies. It is a disaster.
Well, he's got to rent out the Mar-a-Lago.
It's a pig in a poke. It's over.
Look,
pick a different party.
Lauren Lyons Cole, listen to me. Hillary's the one in trouble because after all this disaster that Rob has spelled out, why is he behind 1 point in Pennsylvania, 2 points in Ohio, 1 point in New Hampshire? He is going to win the swing states. Correct me, please.
I mean, can we really trust the polling? I don't know. I mean, maybe he's going to be okay. But the money, I mean, I feel like the money goes where the votes go, right? So if he's not raising the money, I would be concerned that he's not going to get the votes. Although I will say, from a financial planning perspective, I prefer for people to keep their money and not be donating it to any politician and let the politicians, you know, whatever. He's got the money.
Do you think it might have to do, Guy, with the fact that your pal Mitt Romney is running around telling everyone to hold on to their cash and don't give him a cent?
Well, you can scapegoat anyone you want, Tom. As you lived, what do you call it, fantasy dream or whatever?
I don't live in the dream journal.
I
dream in the dream journal. I live in the
useful. Dream journals, your subconscious patterns are useful to figure out what you're doing in your actions.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Look, I think the fact that this election is remotely close right now, and it does really depend on the poll. Monmouth poll had an 8-point spread in the battleground states, but regardless, she sucks. She is really bad at this.
I agree with that.
Like, I watched the speech today, and she got some really good knocks in on him, but overall, I watched it because I was being paid to sit there and watch it. Otherwise, I couldn't have handled it. And I'm not saying it's, you know, because she's a woman in her voice. She is a terrible speech giver. She has not improved at all at this. She is deeply unlikable, distrusted by almost everyone. And in the CNN poll, it's almost as disliked as Donald Trump, which is quite a feat. So he is, I said this earlier, he is blessed to have her as his opponent and vice versa.
I'm so glad that I convinced 3 out of 4 of my panel that I'm right. Okay, in other news, Trump uses a lot of exclamation marks on Twitter. I guess that's not news. The website 538 found that 70% of Trump's tweets use an exclamation point. That got us thinking, what if, as an experiment, we remove the punctuation mark? How much would that change the tone? Here's a Trump original tweet. The great boxing promoter Don King just endorsed me. Nice! Now, without the enthusiasm. The great boxing promoter Don King just endorsed me. Nice. Not good. Here's another. America first! Now, without the exclamation point, America first. See, I don't even believe him when he puts it that way. What about Hillary Clinton? She rarely uses exclamation marks. What if we added some to her tweets? Education should be about building a brighter future, not a lifetime of debt. That's much better. And here's another. Women earn just 79 cents for every $1 men do. Now she's got my attention. This works, doesn't it? Happy first day of summer. Same to you, Hillary. Well.
Yeah, nothing in life is exciting enough for an exclamation point, in my opinion.
Well, look, remember Jeb had the exclamation point?
Jeb. Yeah.
Jeb had, it was Jeb exclamation point, right?
Aww,
Trump, he
Jeb.
took his energy, he took his mojo, and he took his exclamation point.
Jeb was like, I'm being called low energy. I'll just add an exclamation point. Great plan.
But it works, doesn't it? Lauren Lyons Skull.
I mean, I'm a fan of the exclamation point, but I also smile when I'm mad, so.
Oh, yeah.
Really? You're one of those?
She's seething right now.
Yeah.
That makes me so mad when people smile when they're mad.
I
it's
like that.
Dude, you're delegitimizing my anger.
I love that, but I don't tell women to smile because, oh boy, they give you guff. Okay, moving on. Democrats want their national convention to be a dazzling, celeb-studded TV spectacle to distinguish it from the GOP convention, which is expected to be a sober, policy-driven affair. Politico reports that operatives are reaching out to Lin-Manuel Miranda, the star of Hamilton, along with other A-list stars, including well-known young pop artists. Said one PR exec who's backing Clinton, the nights are 3-hour primetime TV shows. Entertainment and adding excitement become a key part of it, as opposed to hardcore politics. Yes, the goal of the convention is to produce a lot of moments that go viral. Also, to unify the party around Hillary, of course. Rehearsals are already underway in the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, site of the Democratic Convention. Here's a peek. That's not the opening number. That's...
I don't know. It looks pretty good.
I mean, it has, yeah, it's good choreography. Meanwhile, let's check in on rehearsals for Trump's convention in Cleveland.
Donald Trump knows how to make America great. Deal from strength or get crushed every time.
I think both of those clips are from North Korea, actually.
They do have that flavor, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I love that last clip so much. That's why we're doing this story. I wanted to show the Trump girls celebrating because I love that. Maybe we'll see a little more.
I'm sure they will definitely be there at the convention.
Later. Well, what do you think?
There's a lot of unscheduled time at that convention, so there's plenty of time for,
Why do you think Hillary wants to celeb it up? I mean,
They always do. Democrats always do. They always get the celebrities. That's not going to be, despite my negativity, I got to say, Democrats always have the big stars, and Republicans always trot out Bo Derek or somebody.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad, but it doesn't mean that we can't win. It's always Lee Greenwood.
I know how to do a spin.
That's a moving song.
I know how to do a
It is, but it's always that.
They have to do it because Hillary is so boring that unless they get all the Hamilton, whatever, people there singing their songs or whatever it is that they do, I don't know, I'm not a rich person.
Yeah.
Nobody will want to go and watch and hear her voice because she's grotesque.
Well, isn't that true that she doesn't do well in front of the big crowds? I don't know if you saw her speech today. But, I mean, I think the highlight was when she was talking about, we're not going to roll the dice with one of his casinos.
The nominee should be the most exciting thing about the convention.
Yes.
It shouldn't be like, oh, Hamilton, and no, that just proves your weakness, not your strength.
Well, he's not going to do it anyway. I think he's booked. He's got to do a film. He's a big star now. He can't be running around doing.
Yeah, he's got to go to London, be in London doing a movie.
Exactly.
But his dad was a big Democratic force here in the city. So
yes.
It's not like he doesn't know the score here.
He's from the Heights,
Yeah, well, that's right. But look, I mean, very good inside reference that the four people will.
No, they know the play, right?
I didn't get it, but I also wasn't listening.
But look, these conventions have been trouble for years. They never get the number you want them to. They got to create some kind of excitement. Usually people tune in the last minute. People go to the conventions because it's a gigantic floating party. That's why they go. But
yes.
Watching it at home, I mean, look, if you counter-program something interesting, people will just dip in and dip out.
Well, I think the thing is Trump's going first, so he's going to get all the excitement. I think a lot of people are going to be watching that. She's got to do something to get people to tune in, right?
Yeah, but what I find insulting about this is that it's supposed to attract young voters. And I just feel like we care about the issues. We don't care about celebrity endorsements.
Do we?
Me personally.
Do we?
I think so.
I care
think
about the issues.
Yeah.
It's like
care
when
about
she
the
tried. It's like when she tried to say, describe your student loan debt in 3 emojis or less, and all the young people were like, "Yo, student loan debt ruining my life. Not really an emoji thing. Lady, stop trying to be." She's trying to convince everyone she's a grandma, and also trying to convince everyone she's a hip young millennial.
Yeah.
She needed more exclamation points, I think, in
Yeah.
that tweet.
Well, what about
Please print! Exclamation point.
what about like her Hollywood friends like Lena Dunham? What do you think?
She's paying them
Yeah.
with the blood money.
she'll
We'll
be
take
there.
pictures.
It is, but the truth is, I mean, I think we millennials do care about issues.
Hello, fellow students.
What the hell? Yeah. Right. Hello, fellow kids. But it's a bad strategy for her because her best bet is just to lie low and just play it safe. That she should have that convention be a 1-hour event. She should sit on a sofa, let Trump. Trump's going to be Real Housewives of something.
Yeah.
Drink throwing and screaming and drunken crying. That's going to be a mess. The best strategy for her is just to lie low and just be quiet and normal and have people say, I'm tired of this crazy, I'll vote for the old lady.
Yeah, and you know, she could really Lee Greenwood it up. Get some country stars, make it.
Or just, phone it, Skype it in. Like, just be somewhere else. I mean, I really do believe that.
Or she could literally just be like, have the Trump convention, which everyone will watch because you can't take your eyes off of it. It's going to be fascinating. And then she could just show up at the end for like 5 minutes and be like, hi, America. I'm under no illusions. None of you want to actually hear me speak. I'm not that. See you in November.
Yeah, a little cup of tea, maybe a blanket over her legs. You just go to the website if you
A
care.
little abuela.
Probably
button.
always
Well, I say the advantage though is Trump because he gets to put on the show first. I think that's because the second.
But the Trump show is not going to be it's going to be an orchestrated show like Trump's an orchestrated candidate.
Well, we'll
it's
see.
going to be a gigantic mess.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, I know I hate to I know in your little dream journal you have.
I think you're
just
forgetting
saw a vision
what a
of it.
big
It's
success
fantastic.
Clint Eastwood was last time around. Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
President Mitt Romney did I guess he forgot that too.
Hillary did an interview this week with a Latino syndicated radio host who had nothing but good things to say about her.
Even in my own family, I got to tell you, my father is voting for Trump because he says that he can't trust you. My mother says you're a crook, and my brother says you should go to jail. What would you say to them?
Wow. What would she say to that? Clinton then made her case.
I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Okay, we might have edited. It's funny
But it probably wasn't worse than her actual answer.
Right.
No, it was
Yeah.
not. Although we edited it, and then I was actually believing it as I was listening to it. I was like, wow, that's such a strange answer. I was like, oh, no, we faked that.
I'm convinced.
But that's what I always do. I always go to the LLC. Do you go to the hot sauces when you're talking to people of different ethnicities? It's a good way to get on their side.
Yeah.
Go to the sauces, right?
I'm not a big sauce person.
Really?
Exclamation points, yes. Sauce, no. So
I love sauces.
I know it's so boring.
I do.
It's so boring.
Look, Hillary really thinks that she's got the Hispanic sewn up, right? But not this guy's family.
Right. Well, the way that she explained it was, well, just tell them to not listen to all the bad stuff people say about me, and then they'll like me, which wasn't really an answer to his question.
Yes.
It's like explaining how humans have related to each other forever and always. Generally,
Yes.
you like the people who you don't believe the bad stuff about. I would have given anything to see the look on her face. How much trouble is the person that allowed her to do this interview in right now?
Well, I mean,
Are they answering their phone?
well, the section we saw, it did look pretty bad. That the dad doesn't like her, and somebody thinks she's
Prison.
But
Prison.
yes,
She says you're crooked, that you should be in jail.
But the rest of the article was pretty fawning. Did you hear the whole thing?
Sweetheart. He called her sweetheart.
He called her sweetheart.
Which is, of course,
He loves
sexual
her.
harassment.
I do like, there's a part of me that derives some joy from the idea that she probably called in or phoned in for this interview assuming that it was going to be pretty friendly because Latino and I'll be fine and Trump and all that.
Yeah.
And then he just he's like, guess what? Here are some Latinos who loathe you and think you should be literally in the penitentiary. Your response, like, you don't own any group of people, Democrats, and they think that they do. They think that they are entitled to certain groups of people's votes, and the occasional, like, slap across the face rhetorically that this is not applicable to everyone, and you have to actually earn votes from different groups of people is refreshing.
But she's not going to earn them, is she? Do you think she's just going to play it safe?
Well, she should. I mean, the smart strategy for her is play it safe because she'll probably get 80% of the Hispanic vote, and that's what she needs. But what's strange about that interview was, like, take away the Latino issue, she doesn't have an answer to that. I mean, she's not, I mean, this isn't like a specific Latino thing where some people think she should be in prison.
Yes.
A lot of people think she should be in prison. She should have a ready answer for that question. That question is going to keep coming. It can't be, I mean, I know you edited the hot sauce part.
But she said, don't listen to all the negative talk.
All the negative talk. It should be, no, I understand why this, here's my response.
Yes.
She should have that, she
Her
should be ready for
response
that.
is essentially, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
She did blow it.
Deadline.
It is
Stop watching.
very true.
Yeah.
Okay, coming up. Is BioWatch a failed government program that wastes billions of dollars, or a fresh new reboot of the Baywatch franchise?
Oh.
Find out next. We're spending billions to stop terror attacks, but is it making a difference? One former Pentagon official says no. Michael Sheehan tells Newsweek we should scale back the obscene spending on programs that have a very marginal impact on our safety. One program called BioWatch has cost taxpayers $1.3 billion. It's supposed to detect pathogens in cities, but apparently out of the 149 samples that have triggered it, none were a threat. For example, in 2003, a tularemia alarm in Texas was traced to a dead rabbit. Stupid dead rabbit. Tularemia is for kids, right? And another program that's supposed to find radioactive cargo has triggered so many false alarms from things like kitty litter and bananas that responders feel no sense of urgency when they're notified of a hit. LLC, what do you think? Are we all crying wolf at the same time?
It's like the TSA. It's like no matter what we do, we're not using our money effectively. But at the same time, I don't know that I would say, oh, let's just cancel all the programs and forget it. Because if it does, it's like not holding the pole on the subway. You're probably not going to get sick, but it's better just not to risk it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about more than $1 billion, though, Guy.
Yeah, over a lot of years. And this is the type of program that you don't need it until all of a sudden you really need it. Yeah. And then so, look, it's probably wasteful and could be improved. But if, God forbid, there was some sort of biological attack and this program could have warned us or triggered some alarm early on and didn't, we'd be sitting here being like, why didn't the government do this? Why did they cancel this program?
I would,
We'd be probably dead.
I'm surprised. I'm just very surprised to see the government, first of all, spending wastefully, and second of all, using fear-mongering tactics to justify it.
Yeah.
That's something that pretty much never happens. We don't need all this money to catch kitty litter and dead rabbits, whatever.
But, we did go through this with the color coding. Do you remember during the Bush years?
Oh, yeah, remember that? Code orange.
Yes. And
magenta.
So I don't know if spending on programs that that alarm people, I'm not sure if that's the best way to
Look,
spend
there's 160 pathogens right outside this window. I mean, I take the D train up here. It's filled with pathogens. My God, it's like a soup, a pathogen soup. I don't know how you can detect the bad stuff from the stuff that's just there all the time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is very complicated stuff, right? It's all technological. We probably should spend some money on it. The FBI interviewed a guy 3 times. They talked to him 3 times, and each time he seemed to have sent up red flags, and they kept letting him go, and then he shot 50 people to death in an Orlando nightclub.
Yeah.
We should just focus on this easy stuff first. Let's, like, after the 3rd time, stop the guy from going into Orlando nightclub. How about that? Let's leave the pathogen detection stuff for later. Let's just do the basic stuff and do that well. I'd be much happier if the government was doing that.
Isn't that the case, Lauren, that people have, whenever they've found people like this, like the guy in New York, it comes from somebody just thinking someone is suspicious and saying, you know what, that guy's creepy. I think he's a terrorist, and then they call the cops. Isn't that what we should be doing? More profiling, more suspicion, more paranoia about people?
I would actually appreciate some education around if I'm opening up like some ground beef, how can I tell if there's bioterrorism in it or not? And then I will, maybe there's a toll-free hotline for that.
I just always assume it is, well, I don't.
It's very clear.
Let's face it.
If you go into a Waffle House.
Yeah. I love Waffle House.
You are exposed to pathogens. That's biological terror right there. That's really all you need to know.
It is kind of, especially the restroom.
Right. Oh, yeah. A Waffle House and Arby's. Those are whatever you do.
But should we outsource? Should we privatize it? Is that what we do, Guy?
Yes. As a conservative, the answer is yes. If the question is, should we privatize it? Yes. Next question.
That's it. That's all I got.
Oh.
Kat, you're suspicious.
I just think that we're all going to get sick and die eventually unless we die a violent death. So, it is what it is.
Wow.
Wow.
Fate. Coming up. Fun times.
Stay positive.
It's a great wedding toast.
Andy Levy. Halftime is next. And don't forget, the Red Eye Podcast is back. Subscribe on iTunes and on FoxNewsRadio.com. Welcome back. It's time to find out what we got wrong and what we missed from TV's Andy Levy over in the Red Eye News Deck. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Great. It's my favorite time of the show, halftime.
Excellent. Me too. Trump is unconcerned that his campaign has no money. Tom, you also seem unconcerned about this, and if you are unconcerned, then I am unconcerned.
There you go.
That's how I feel.
It just has to go from one guy to the next, one gal to the next, all across the great United States.
It's not cat food, it's pate.
I would call it paying it forward, except he couldn't afford that. Oh. Guy, you said that by interrupting you before you finished, Tom was picking up some tips from some other hosts. You want to name some names?
I don't recall saying that.
Oh, really?
It might be on tape.
Can we play that tape? I'm just kidding. We can't.
I'll just go with you. You interrupt me sometimes.
Fair enough. Tom, you agreed with Guy that Trump needs money to have a good ground game, but I thought you were unconcerned about this.
Well, because I think he'll get the money. I mean, ground game, he's got time.
Okay.
You know, these millions, they come very quickly, Andy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a full 5 months till the election. Or something.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah. Rob, you said to Tom when he was trying to restate his moment with Tom as a question to you, saying it twice doesn't make it any more real. He doesn't believe that.
I know, it's weird. I don't know. Is this an intervention thing?
It's like a Candyman situation.
Yeah.
Like if he says it 3 times, it happens.
I don't think he can hear us right now talk.
No, he can't.
Look, he's like smiling, like he's just not a care in the world, huh?
Yeah, no,
I wish I could feel that way.
I had him turn off his earpiece before.
Oh, that's generous.
Yeah. Rob, you also said Trump's negatives are huge across everywhere, which, of course, is the part that Tom apparently wants to ignore. The fact is Hillary's numbers have gotten better against him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a two-way race. She does great. That's the most amazing thing about this race is that we are, like in 1971, people forget, about to elect someone that we don't find likable. Nixon was not a likable person. People didn't like him. He had a high approval rating, but it was not a liked figure.
I have been saying for a long time, Rob, that Hillary is Richard Nixon without the charm.
And you have been right all along.
I have. Also, just lastly, Rob, you asked why Trump fired Lewandowski if everything was going so well. I don't think he fired him. I think he had to lay him off because he couldn't afford to pay him.
You don't have to pay disciples and acolytes like the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh didn't pay his Moonies or I'm getting my cults mixed up, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Lauren, you asked if we can really trust the polling. In 2012, Republicans didn't trust the polling. They kept saying the polls were skewed. Didn't work out too well for them.
I don't know anything about polling.
Okay.
I'm saying trust the polling, Andy. 1 in 4 haven't made up their minds. I don't think those 25%.
Yeah.
I don't think they're voting for Hillary. That 25%.
All right. Guy, you said Hillary sucks. She's really bad. I rate this 100% true.
Thank you.
Yep. Lastly, on this story, Tom, which three of the 4 people on the panel did you think you convinced?
I think I got everyone except Rob. Rob seems a little skeptical to me.
All right. You think you convinced Guy?
Yeah.
All right. Guy, did he convince you?
He did not.
Okay.
Opposite day.
Yes.
It must be. That's the only explanation.
Words with my daughters. Opposite day.
That's the only explanation for that, yeah.
Trump's exclamation marks. Kat, you said nothing in life is exciting enough to warrant an exclamation point.
That's true.
What is it like to be so tragically hip?
It's not exciting enough for an exclamation point.
All right.
But it's okay.
Okay. Hillary wants a rock star convention. Robbie said Democrats always have the big stars and Republicans always get a Bo Derek.
Yeah.
Or a Clint Eastwood with an empty chair.
Yeah, that was actually a great get for them.
It was. Yeah.
And that was a great speech, by the way. I mean, I thought it was a huge home run. I was kind of alone in that. A lot of people thought it was.
I did too, Rob.
I love that speech.
That was framing. everyone acted as
stop now.
Yeah, and then Mitt Romney won the election.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
He was already there, and then he went too far.
Yeah. By the way, if the Democrats get Hamilton, the Republicans should definitely go for Red, White, and Blaine. I think.
Wow, good reference.
Thank you. It's from Waiting for Guffman, for people who didn't get it. Also, does anything scream liberal establishment more than Hamilton?
No.
It's like Acela Twitter is just going to be collectively orgasming that night.
Yeah.
It's going to be disgusting.
And it's so funny because Hamilton was such a hero of, like, the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah. Yep. Kat, you said the nominees should be the most exciting part of the convention. But they never really are they? It never works out that way.
We don't live in an ideal world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just compare everything to an ideal world.
Yeah. All right. Tom, you pointed out that Trump is going first. The Republicans are going first.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they wanted to go first. Why would you want to go first?
Well, I mean, I think when they picked it, they didn't think they were going to have Trump, right?
Doesn't the out party go first? I think the party out.
Is that how it works?
You're the fact checker. Andy.
Yeah, I honestly don't know or care that much.
Well, you can maybe like Google it or something.
I can. Not right now, though. I'm doing the segment.
I think with Trump around, it serves them well to go first.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
As usual, take the air out of the room. That's been his philosophy all along.
Okay. Latino radio host tells Hillary his family hates her. Guy, I agree with you. The fun part of this was knowing that there's no way Clinton was expecting this.
I'm glad that you're using so much of this time to agree with me.
Yeah.
I think it makes me feel good.
Okay. Rob, you were surprised that Hillary didn't have a ready response, and you weren't impressed when Tom said that her actual response was that she would ask that his family not listen to the negative attacks from Republicans. But that's all she has.
Oh, she's got a bunch of people sitting in Brooklyn. They can come up with a better answer than that.
They can't really, because she can't be trusted. She is a criminal, and she should be in jail.
Yeah, but you can still say it nicer.
All right. Former officials say we're wasting money on dumb counter-terror programs. Lauren, you said it's like the TSA, but at the same time, you don't know that we should just cancel all the programs. And Guy, you said this is the type of program where you don't need it until you need it. But the knock on these programs is that they don't work and they'll never work.
I'm a nervous person, though. I like for there to be some sort of action, you know. I'd like to think, in fact, maybe they just need a publicist. They need someone to come out and tell us something to make us think that it is working. I don't know. It does make me feel a little better.
We found the rabbit, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. I would click on that story.
So you would prefer the government lie to you?
I just want them to, I want them to make me feel better. Is that too much to ask?
No, no.
It might be.
All right. I just spending billions of dollars on things that don't work just seems silly to me.
Like Obamacare, am I right?
There you go.
Just lastly, Rob, you took some cheap shots at Waffle House and Arby's, and I believe you should apologize.
I do. I apologize for my statements about Waffle House and Arby's, and I'm asking you to respect my privacy at this time.
Okay. Good enough for me. I'm done, Tom.
Thank you, Andy. I like that pecan waffle. Coming up, is it wise to post your criminal activities on Twitter? Surprisingly, yes. Now, say my name, Kennedy.
Hey, red-eyed delinquents, on the next Kennedy, I have captured your fearless leader. His name is Tom Shillue, and I will make him hang out with me and you and scout witty opinions. I've also got the 5's Kimberly Guilfoyle and reactions to a new big Trump speech. See you there.
And now to international news. A young man in Ontario, Canada, was looking for help and turned to Twitter for guidance. He tweeted, "Yo, does anyone know someone who can make fake IDs?" The Winnipeg Police Department happened to see the tweet and responded. Let us know if you find a source for fake IDs. Pretty sure we know a couple of detectives who'd be interested in that info too. They put the trolling in patrolling. The kid, Adam, then deleted his Twitter account.
Oh.
Actually, he did reply. I'd like to take this 5 minutes of fame to promote my mixtape. Coming soon to iTunes. Stay tuned. The police replied, thanks for being a good sport and good luck with the album. Wow, that is really, I think this is an inspiring story. I like seeing law enforcement and young ne'er-do-wells get along. Kat, what do you think?
I did something similar to this when I was on an airplane, and I tweeted at Delta that I was not going to have my seatbelt on. I did not have my seatbelt on because I'm a grown-ass woman, and I can handle my turbulence however I want to. And then okay, let me. And then but then they tweeted back at me. So now whenever I drag my skag or, vape on the plane, like in the bathroom or under a blanket, I just don't tweet about it.
Wait a minute. You're admitting to a crime. Is it a crime to vape on the plane? You can't vape on a plane, can you?
If I did, it would be a crime.
I am sick and tired of these.
If it is anything really a crime, is anything really a crime if you do it under a blanket where no one can see you?
Well, maybe
that's the law, right?
If it's just you under that blanket.
Right.
Yeah.
The Constitution protects your right to do whatever you want under your own blanket. I'm pretty sure. I'm an American.
Yeah. You probably...
It's in the Bible
also.
Bible. Yeah.
People still check your ID to this day, don't they?
They do.
Did you ever have a fake ID when you're still young? What am I saying?
I never had a fake ID. I did occasionally enter a bar despite being underage, but there was a bar in Evanston, or actually it was just in Chicago, that would just accept my real ID that said I was 19, and I would show it to them, and they would say, okay.
Wow.
So I didn't feel like...
They looked at it, they just didn't look at the date.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
That's
if I was
why we
working
went
the door,
there.
to be honest.
Man. I am so old. I remember when 19 was the drinking age.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Those were the days. I don't remember that,
Oh,
but...
please. Yes, you do. I don't remember that. I was in an old, Zoom cast. No, you remember that. Give me a break.
Zoom.
You remember that? You remember that?
I remember Bernadette.
See, if you remember that,
Bernadette
then you
with the arms,
sure.
she was fantastic. But Rob,
all right.
You used to kind of horse around with the fake IDs?
Yeah, I don't know. I actually a little bit like Guy. When I come down to New York City or Boston or places where I would hang out as a youngster, you always knew where to go where they didn't check.
You always knew because they had signs. Do you remember they would
Yeah.
you would stand in front of the, I don't think people remember this. They had IDs with the face cut out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
would put your face
At Times
through.
Square, you would put your face through it, and they would take a picture of it, and they'd cut around it and laminate it. It took like half an hour.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of bars in town that didn't check, and a lot of bars in Boston didn't check. You kind of always knew.
Yeah.
Plus, there's
And it
always
said just
parking lots.
For entertainment
alleys.
purposes only, it said on it. Just
Yeah, right. And I'm just going to be very entertained. Yeah.
LLC, what do you think? I think it was great that the cops have a good sense of humor. I think I love the whole state of Canada.
I do too, actually. Yeah, no, Canada's got a lot to offer. I don't understand why I wasn't using Yik Yak. You guys know about this?
Oh, yeah.
It's totally anonymous, and I was just in Florida last week, and I downloaded it to see, like, oh, what's this all about? And all these kids are like, oh, I'm down by the pier. Who has weed? You know, I feel like if you want to do...
Wait, you can't just shout that?
Well, you could try.
But then you go down the pier and you see the kids down there with their phones, and you're like, that's the one who just tweeted right there, right?
Yeah, so those kids weren't so smart, but there were other kids, I think, that were figuring it out.
Wait,
better.
is weed illegal?
Yeah, apparently it is. Except in some places.
Nice segue.
And we'll talk about that later. Coming up, some guy didn't like how he was portrayed in The Wolf of Wall Street. I smell a lawsuit. Or it could be Rob Long's cologne. A federal judge has ordered Leonardo DiCaprio to be deposed in a defamation lawsuit brought by a former Wall Street executive over his alleged portrayal in the film The Wolf of Wall Street. The plaintiff, Andrew Green, is suing for more than $50 million, claiming he was defamed by the character named Nikki Rugrat Koskoff, played by actor P.J. Byrne. Paramount claims the character is a composite, inspired by multiple people, including Green, but Green insists the despicable character is him. And DiCaprio's lawyers say he didn't write the movie, he was merely the star. Here's my favorite DiCaprio scene from Wolf of Wall Street.
Wow.
That was Fat Caprio. You remember that guy?
That is a look into the future, I think, that guy. Yeah.
That's right. His next biopic.
Yeah, opening the Westfield shopping town or whatever it is.
He's a Russian guy. That guy, yeah. Rob, you're a Hollywood writer.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to bring the whole town down?
No, it's like people. What you want to do is you want to get the trophy, to bring him in and make him talk for 2 hours. All the lawyers want to meet the guy. They will probably like pose for selfies with him. There's just a way to get the celebrity in the room. He's got to come in the room. He's been subpoenaed.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to say. He's not even a party in the lawsuit. So it's just they all want to meet him. That's it's that simple.
But that guy's lawyers, that's not a good thing, is it?
Oh, I've heard where people will sue other person, and then the lawyer, the plaintiff, will take the celebrity aside and say, I got a script that you might want to read. Like if this happens all the time. This is exactly what's happening here.
That's it. It's going to be a hallway pitch for his
it's
next
gonna be
movie.
like, hey, I know it went easy on you in there. So could you read my script? I guarantee you.
Look, Rugrat was a great character. I think he deserves his own movie. What about you, Lauren?
Oh, of course you're looking at me. I haven't seen it.
Well, he had some bad qualities, but he was a likable. I thought he was a likable enough.
Likeable
guy.
rogue.
Yeah.
Like an underdog that you're rooting for?
Yes, but what do you think of the lawsuit? I mean, does he have a?
Well, I just feel like these Wall Street guys, right? I mean, they'll do anything to make $50 million.
Yeah, it's true.
As they
will
should.
do anything. What?
All right, Bernie.
You saw the film?
No, I don't see films.
Oh my
Do I
God.
strike you as a type that goes to the cinema?
I don't go to the cinema either. I ended up seeing it on some type of device.
I watched the finale of Teen Mom 2.
Look, I don't know why the guy was arrested in the first place. I thought this Wolf of Wall Street, I just thought he was a good salesman.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea, and I'm also so looking forward to the day when I don't have to hear about Leonardo DiCaprio and or see his face anymore. I just feel like he's had his time.
Guy, 20 seconds.
He's an actor. I don't understand. What's the benefit here? It's like, oh,
It's gonna go in character.
Boston PD is going to show up and bring him in for questioning and all those murders in The Departed. Like he's an actor. He didn't write this stuff.
He didn't
just
write this
portrayed it.
stuff. Last word to guy who agrees with me on Trump. Good night.